Before you guys get seated, please take a moment to greet a couple of people around you. After a short break, I'll bring us back together.
So I locked myself out of my house yet again, and unfortunately, office after hours also includes Sunday. The next time they're open is on Tuesday, so I might. It's theoretical. I might need a. I either might need a stay with someone else or watch it. Someone to stay at someone else's place for like 2 days, or we'll have to pay $50 to get back into
The camera's right there.
when I can actually get back.
Just go. Oh, but you without the slides?
All right. I hear a lot of great conversations going on, so I'm going to bring us back together. Welcome again to Ethnos. My name is Joy. Thank you so much for being here. As you settle in, there's some exciting upcoming events I want to let you know about, and you can always access them on our digital bulletin at ethnos.us. If you're newer to Ethnos, we have a special lunch just for you today after service. It's our newcomer lunch where we'd love to get to know your story and share with you the story of our church. It's also a great place to ask any questions you have about the church or our beliefs. It will include a free lunch at Lucadia Pizza, which is just around the corner. Please talk to Pastor Scott after service if you're interested. And coming up in May, we're having our child dedication. Once a year, we as a church family come alongside parents as they lead their children in knowing God's wisdom and love. If any parents are interested in dedicating your children, talk to Pastor Scott and he can let you know more about what's involved. And for those who consider Ethnos home, you can make your regular contributions and donations by placing them on the box in the back table, or by donating online electronically at ethnos.us. Your generosity and support are deeply appreciated. Ethnos kids, you are dismissed. Please meet your teachers by the door. Each Sunday, we take some time to pray together for our community. I'm going to invite up Pastor Scott, and he is going to share how we can be in prayer.
Thank you, Joy. This past week, there was a gathering of different faith leaders who, in the city of San Diego, have been working on how can we care for the immigrant population here in San Diego, especially in the midst of a lot of the fear and anxiety that's been happening in this past season due to different enforcement policies and different just cultures of fear that have been brought to the immigrant communities, and seeing, hey, is there a way to work together in continuing to serve those who have come from other places? This is something that is near and dear to the heart of Ethnos, of course, as a community that is multicultural, multi-ethnic. That means we have people that come from all over the world. And in San Diego is a city as well where many people have grown up in other places and come here. One of the calls of God to his people throughout the Bible is, hey, you guys were once foreigners. Will you make sure that you care for those who are foreigners in your midst? And so we want to be thinking about how we can do that as well as an Ethnos community. And so here are some prayer requests that came out of that gathering. And this is kind of a new collaboration that has been starting to happen. One, you can be praying for immigrants themselves as they're navigating both the government systems of immigration and paperwork and court cases, as well as pray for them in the midst of the fear that's come up, especially in the last year and a half or so, with some extra excessive enforcement of immigration policies, some changes on promises that have been made to people. And so be praying for strength and peace and support in the midst of that. Two, you can be praying for families. One of the hardest things that a number of people have been dealing with is being separated, whether that's kids being separated from parents or spouses being separated from their spouses. And so be praying for people to be reunited and for fairness in that. Third, you can pray that those who are enacting these things would act with compassion. And so we know that that hasn't always been the case, and that's part of the reason for some of the fear. And fourth, you can be praying for all of the people, the volunteers, the community leaders, the people who are part of congregations, that they would grow, one, in partnership. And so that's one of the reasons for that we had this gathering this past week. But also, you can be praying for support, because a lot of these people have been serving immigrant communities in San Diego and LA and other places for a long time. It hasn't just been this last couple of years. And that can be a very tiring endeavor, as you can imagine. And so be praying for strength, be praying for support. That includes the secondary trauma that can happen. Like primary trauma would be this that happen to families, but secondary trauma can happen to those who are helping and trying to support when some of these things happen as well. You can be praying for your own, whether it's family members or friends or people that you know that have been facing some difficulties in this area as well. And so I'm going to invite up Joy to come and share how we can pray.
Thank you, Pastor Scott. So we invite you to join together and pray for these things. The way we do that here at Ethnos is to get together with a couple of people around you in groups of 2 or 3, introduce yourselves to one another, and pray for these points. If you don't feel comfortable praying out loud, that's no problem. You can just let your group know that you'd like to listen in. We'll pray for about 5 minutes and then come back together.